In parts of Nigeria a century ago, the birth of twins wasn't celebrated. It was a death sentence. Two babies born at once meant one of them had to be fathered by something other than human. Villages had rules for this. Forests set aside just for leaving them. And an entire missionary's life was spent racing through the jungle at night, trying to reach the babies before the men with the baskets did. Twins have always unsettled people because they break a rule everyone assumes is fixed: one body, one soul, one birth. Ancient cultures built entire mythologies trying to explain the exception. Rome's founding myth starred twin brothers Romulus and Remus, raised by a wolf, and the story ends with one twin killing the other, as if two of anything this powerful couldn't coexist. Iroquois legend told of twin creator gods, one who shaped the world with kindness and one who shaped it with cruelty, locked together as the reason good and evil both exist. In Chinese folklore, twins became walking symbols of yin and yang. But if one thrived and the other sickened, that wasn't read as bad luck. It was read as an imbalance in the universe itself, made visible in a crib. By medieval Europe, that unease had curdled into doctrine. Multiple births were filed under a category called monstrous births, a term used for any birth considered a deviation from the moral order, not just physical deformity. Preachers and physicians treated twins as omens, signs that God was warning the community about a hidden sin. The Latin root of monster is monere, to warn. A woman who delivered twins wasn't just unlucky. In some interpretations, delivering more than one child at once was treated as proof of infidelity, as though the body itself couldn't be trusted to only carry one man's child at a time. Medieval scholars debated twins in the same academic breath as birth defects, filing them under moral monstrosity alongside supposed evidence of aberrant character. Nowhere did that fear turn more lethal than in parts of West Africa in the 19th century. Among the Igbo, Efik, and Ibibio peoples, twin birth was treated as an active curse on the entire community, not just the family. The belief held that one twin had to have been fathered by an evil spirit. But since no one could tell which one, both were killed to be safe. The chosen method was abandonment in what were called evil forests, dense, avoided tracts of land set aside specifically for this. Mothers weren't spared either. A woman who gave birth to twins was frequently exiled to those same forests, treated as contaminated by contact with the supernatural, cut off from her community for a crime that was really just biology. Not every nearby culture agreed. The Yoruba, just next door, did the opposite. They worshipped twins as spirit children, carved wooden Ibeji statues to house a twin's soul if one died, and treated their birth as a blessing rather than a curse. Two neighboring peoples, two opposite verdicts on the exact same event. Europe's witch trials rarely targeted twins by name, but the underlying logic was identical. The same courts that hanged women for shared familiars and demonic pacts were primed to see anything doubled as suspicious. A shared soul, a demon riding along in a second body. Medieval commentary on twin births leaned on the idea of a demon double, a second self that wasn't fully human. It's the same reasoning that convicted midwives when infant deaths spiked, and the same reasoning that let a body simply looking unusual become legal evidence. Twin births rarely made it to a formal witch trial, but they lived in the same mental category as the things that did. This fear wasn't confined to one continent or one century. In Madagascar, the coastal town of Menagerie still practices a version of it today. Local tradition, upheld by descendants of a royal family, holds that twins bring violence and misfortune. The taboo is traced back to a queen who fled war and abandoned one of her own twins in the chaos. To this day, families in the region are pressured to give up one or both twins for adoption rather than raise them. It isn't ancient history there. It's an ongoing negotiation between old belief and modern law. One name comes up again and again in the record of who pushed back: Mary Slessor, a Scottish missionary who arrived in Nigeria in the 1870s. She didn't just preach against the practice. She intervened directly, personally racing to reach newborn twins before they could be taken to the forest. Over nearly 4 decades in West Africa, she is credited with rescuing and raising dozens of twins herself, adopting several as her own children. While her advocacy pushed colonial authorities toward outlawing the practice outright. By 1906, twin killing had been formally criminalized across the region. It didn't disappear. But it stopped being law-sanctioned, which mattered. Strip away the superstition, and twins are just a statistical event, and a fairly common one. Fraternal twins happen when 2 eggs are released and fertilized in the same cycle. No shared soul required. Just 2 separate conceptions running in parallel. Identical twins are stranger. 1 fertilized egg splits into 2 embryos, meaning 2 people end up with the same starting DNA. West Africa, notably, has the highest natural twinning rate in the world. Some regions run at nearly 4 times the global average, which may be exactly why the phenomenon generated so much cultural weight there in the first place. Rare as it is, a small number of twins are even born as chimeras, quietly absorbing a twin sibling in the womb and carrying 2 sets of DNA in one body for life. No omen. Just biology being stranger than the folklore that tried to explain it. The belief hasn't fully died. In Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, missionaries and rescue workers report that infanticide tied to twin births, along with other evil traits like albinism or cleft palates, is still happening, quietly, in communities far from the cities. One missionary couple has spent over 2 decades running a shelter specifically for children rejected on these grounds, with dozens currently in their care. It's no longer sanctioned by law anywhere it happens, but belief doesn't obey legislation, and in isolated places, the practice has simply gone underground instead of ending. 2 babies, born minutes apart, sharing a birthday and sometimes a face, and for a huge stretch of human history, that alone was treated as a threat serious enough to kill for. Not because of anything the children did, just because 2 of something felt like 1 too many.